Alright, kind of a special, different vintage style video today here, and I've got a lot of interesting things I picked up at a citywide garage sale that I went to. They had garage sales all over town. I probably only hit like a quarter to maybe even half of them. I don't really know. I probably hit 10 sales or more. I really don't remember how many I went to. I think I want to say I spent $15 total on everything. Lots of, dollar quarter. I think the most expensive item was $7. We'll get to that here. And for the most part, everybody was really pretty polite, at the sales and so on and so forth. And, most of the sales are going to be like people selling stuff that came from, Walmart and the big box, Big Lots and Hobby Lobby type stores, kind of like those, overseas made shelves that fold out and you can put books or DVDs on them. And then somebody's going to want $10 for it. And this got scratched up, and picture frames that people bought, and I saw a few things that had Goodwill stickers behind them, but for the most part. And one sale was tons of toys and collectibles. And I picked up a couple figurines for that one. I don't have those to show, unfortunately. I picked up a Ninja Turtles figurine for $2, and I think I picked up the Penguin for a whole $1. So I spent $3 at that sale. One sale I picked up this. Now, ceramics are hot right now, certain ones. Because if it's, quote, mid-century modern or what have you, then that's what people want. This could be anywhere between $15 and $40 at an antique store. Probably, a semi-pro / amateur might have made this one here. You won't be able to see it, but it's marked Scott 60 on there, so 1960. And this is a perfect type of thing. It's glazed, shiny glazed in there. It's a perfect thing to throw some dried flowers in or something and throw in a corner room or a bathroom or something like that, just as a decorative piece there. I just thought it was really cool, and it was a whopping $1. That's the kind of stuff you want to grab, things that are just a little outside of the ordinary. And I noticed that these things have really shot up in price here. I don't see those at the Goodwill stores very often, and they're kind of I want to say sought after, but they don't have usually a dollar price tag on them very often. So I thought that was kind of neat to grab. And it's kind of neat, and it's just an inexpensive way to get something that's a one-of-a-kind decorator piece without having to go to the Dollar Tree and grab some sort of overseas piece of junk. So there was that one there. And then again, being polite is kind of not really in favor these days with all that's going on in the news. And I watched a video where a guy was pulling up, to grab all the scrap metal. And a guy drove his truck in between the van and the scrap metal and took it all and drove off. And the guy said, "Hey, you took my scrap metal." And the guy drove off without saying a word. And left little bits in the road there, and it was just kind of a bad situation, but he just ignored that. And then I just commented, I said, well, the same thing is at the bins. The etiquette is out the window. I've had stuff physically in my hand, and people said, well, you couldn't hold on to it, so therefore you can't have it. They just jerked it out of my hands and said, sorry, it's mine now. Even though I had told, when something's in my hands, I'm almost 100% intending to purchase that. And it's like, no, that's okay. If somebody said, if you don't want that after you're done with that, can I have that? That's different. Not just jerking out of my hands, And so those particular people, I never hand them anything. And if I do hand them something, it's because it's messed up or broken, or it's just some reason that I want to send them something, send them on a wild goose chase. The whole story where I was grabbing a painting, I got to it first, had my fingers wrapped around the picture wire because that's the only way I could reach it, because the employee said you could stand over here and then get to it. They said you can't stand over there. So what did this woman do? Stand on the spot where the employees told her not to be, so that she zipped right over there after they left and yanked it out of my hand. And I said, hey, you just took that out of my fingers. And she just walked off like she didn't hear me, and then just went off and purchased it. Without, often a deal there. And there's nothing I want to do more than, my friend said, you should have held on to it better. I said, well, what if I had, damaged my fingers? What if I had gotten an altercation with this older lady? She was older than me, and there's nothing I want to do is mess with a middle-aged woman that feels like she's entitled to all the junk in the store. That's exactly how a lot of these people are acting at sometimes at estate sales, garage sales, and thrift stores. And you see that in all the videos, Karen at garage sale sort of thing, that sort of thing. So I was very polite to everybody. One sale I could have spent easily 25 cents, and I said, you know what, I'm going to find something else to make it a whole dollar. You know, it's not much, but and then the nice lady chatted with me for quite a while. So I found these brand new canvases still wrapped in the thing. They were originally marked like at $3, and so they were $1.50 each originally, and I got them for 75 cents total, so I could do some sort of art like maybe this, but paint something like that on there. Or maybe I can, like in one of the videos I had earlier, the VW logo, and I said vinyl wanted. Maybe I might be able to sketch that out on there. It should be fairly easy, but again, I'm not like a Scott or an Eric. I'm not a really good artist, even though I had 2 or 3 years of it in high school and took some in college. It just doesn't work well with me because I haven't arted in a long time. So there is that one there. Then I was very polite to some lady at a yard sale, and this is in the senior, there's kind of like a senior center with housing around it, and she basically beckoned me back after I was going back to my car after I went to another sale. She said, come on over here, help me with this box. So I helped her with this box, all these board games, and she said, you could take whatever you want. I want to get rid of all this stuff. That's the whole point. And I said, but I could give you at least $1 for whatever. You know, I was being polite and trying to give her money, but I got a whole box of dice for free. And a really nice Anne Klein box here. A whole box of dice for free. And then she cajoled me to taking this here, Deluxe Phase 10. So not that I need Phase 10, but I got, you know, Deluxe Phase 10. She may not have a lot of friends to play these games with. They just were just sitting up in her garage and she couldn't get to them. So, and it was quite the heavy box. She warned me, and yes it was. So there was that. Then another sale I spent $3 in because, you know, sometimes I do know some of these people at these sales in these small towns here. This looks like somebody might have melted it on purpose. I really don't know, but it actually might be super, super green. And if I had a black light, I bet you that would glow. That's a really interesting piece. There's some weird bubbling here. You know, weird bubbling here, like somebody had done that on purpose to like a regular bowl or plate. But when are you going to find a piece of interesting glass like this that may or may not, you know, glow in the black light? You know, so I figured, hey, you know what, get that. It's unusual. You don't see it every day, and it's not chipped or broken. You know, so I think I said I spent a whopping $15 on everything. There were no trading cards or anything like that, you know, obviously. And there was one guy that had fishing stuff. I'm not really interested in fishing stuff, but I do appreciate a good deal when I see it, because not that I need a tackle box, but it would be kind of handy because I do have a few, you know, odds and ends fishing stuff laying around here, and I might be able to throw it in somewhere. And then what I don't decide to keep, I have a friend that does fishing, so I can gift him off whatever else. But I thought this really cool fiberglass box, it doesn't look like much to you, but it's a fiberglass box here. And then there's kind of an old vintage logo right there. $7 was the price of it. I know people would have said, how about $5 or $3 or $4? You know, when somebody has a price on something in a garage sale, if it's super unreasonable, then ask them for a discount. But if it's already down to practically nothing, and mind you, this was full of stuff here. Oh, it's super heavy. I mean, this would have been at least $20 at the Goodwill bins in weight. It's that heavy. Let's see if I can get it open here, because there's like brass and copper and stuff in here. All kinds of little bits and bobs here, spinners, and some little wooden, a piece of a wooden lure here that might be made into something there, and all kinds of little bits and bobs here. And you know, this one's kind of a fun one here, a little heavy one there. I don't know what it is. What does it say? Yo-yo or something? For something, I don't know, whatever that is. And try not to get myself hooked on a sharp hook there. And there's more stuff in here and a bunch of stuff there. Like I said, oops, little trim is coming off here, but I can get that closed up there. So, like I said, I figured that he had a ton of fishing stuff for, you know, $7 and a caser. And this was that kind of the coolest one. The latch is a little wiggly there, but again, it's kind of a, hopefully that will hold well enough. I might have to figure out how to get that latch to hold a little better. I don't want to have it come open on me. Oh yeah, I see. It's a little wiggly there. It could be, yeah, one of the rivets has come loose. So I might be able to just pop that and put a screw in there, and that'll take care of that one there. So there is that. I didn't, like I said, I probably wouldn't have gotten it if I'd known that was loose, but it's holding well enough for now. So that is great. And then I went to the bins the other day because, you know, there's just times you have to get out and do things here, and I got, you know, lots of useful things here. One of the crazy things is that, like, this is what I don't understand. So somebody had a big box or a big thing of napkins here. I tried to look up what they originally cost at Staples. There's some sort of like localized thrift store that has these kind of unusual price tags on it. Cannot remember which store that was, whether there was St. Vinny's or something else there. I really don't know. But it was all really very well sealed. So it looks like it's all good to go. And I could actually use some napkins. But they had wanted $3 for somebody's slightly used package of brand new napkins. You know, these are from 2021. I don't know. It says something 02 October 14 21 25. I have no idea. But then I paid by weight at the Goodwill bins here. Again, people throw away super useful things. You know, these are great for spills. They're great for working in the shop, and they're great for using in the kitchen. You know, there's no sense in just throwing away stuff and buying it over again. I don't really understand people. You know, there's just, like I said, a lot of waste. And I was watching a video. It was in the recommended. This guy goes to Aldi, wherever Aldi is. I'm not sure where the Aldi grocery store is. Or it's a chain somewhere, I think. And he found a whole dumpster full of brand new groceries that they threw away. All kinds of hot dogs and vegetables and oranges and apples that were still in the box. And most of the grocery stores, he said, like, you wouldn't find, you know, a fruit that looked that good at Walmart. You know what I mean? And they just threw it away. I mean, you would have had an entire church's worth of 4th of July food right in that one bin right there. You would have been able to do your entire 4th of July church picnic for free. I mean, and the stuff hadn't been out that long. It's ridiculous. So I found these at the bins here. These are nothing super special here. I wanted to show you my new jacket here, but unfortunately I don't have it in this room here. Try not to buy a lot of stuff that I don't need, but when I see a jacket for 50 cents, not at the bins, this was at another thrift store. I'll get to that in a minute here. The 56 Rocket. I got the 55 Rocket, and I got the 53, 54 Pioneer. These are all, you know, middle school type books here. They're all local, and I just thought they were very cool. All the people in there, you know, the 50s automobiles and stuff like that. I'll just show you this one here. One of them is Parish Middle School, and the other one's Leslie Middle School. I think that's kind of really neat there. And these are getting harder and harder to find, and I was able to cajole them into kids book price / magazine, because I said these are school books. And they technically are. The crazy thing is there was tens of thousands of books that were being dumped out at the Goodwill bins, and there was only a couple people that have the presence of mind to dig through those, because there's tens of thousands of books. It gets very exhausting, and you know, when you find only 3 books out of 1,000 books that you could actually make a profit on because Goodwill has scanned everything and then dumped everything else, really ridiculous. But yeah, when I went to this thrift store down the road because I mailed off some packages or whatever, and I said, let's just hop in the thrift store there, see if they had anything new, and they had a large jacket. It's a bright orange, you know, kind of you know, like a baseball jacket, kind of with the striped sleeves on it, you know, with the shiny buttons on it. It was bright orange, and it had like a local high school band on it on the back of it. And I said, you know what, that's only 50 cents. It's a bright orange jacket, very visible, and it's a conversation piece. And, you know, people would be fighting over that sort of thing at the bins, you know, but they don't have the presence of mind to just go 10, 15 minutes out of their comfort zone and look through the 50-cent clothing. Again, it goes to that thing. They rather fight each other to the death and you know, grab from other people and curse other people out for stuff, where I was the only person. There was one lady looking at one corner of the clothing, and nobody was looking at any of the clothing, and it was a USA made jacket, probably from the mid or early 80s, and it was a large, but it fits like a medium, and so it was perfect for me, and I just think it's a fun jacket to wear, even though it's not part of that high school band. You know, so you got to really think smarter and not, you know, it just, I don't get it. When I go to the swap meets every year, I said, the people said, how much did it cost to get in? And then I tell them how much it costs to get in. They almost keel over. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you spent $7 to get in. Oh, how awful. Did you make any money? Did you find anything? I bet you got cheated there, and the prices are too high. I said, you know what happens to those people, the naysayers? They miss out. I said, look at this. I found this item. I spent $5, $7 to get in. I found a hammer that was worth $50 on eBay. That's what it would cost me to buy one of those. and so I'm already the good on the very first item. So you tell me, who's doing right and who's doing wrong, and they said, well, that's just your thing. That's not going to happen every day. But again, they're sitting at the certain same olds. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. It's really kind of crazy. And like I said, just a few minutes out of town was this nice little community that has just a tiny little main street. That's all they have. And they have, yearly garage sales, and I did not see any out-of-towners. I just saw mostly locals, that's what I could tell. There's some people from the next town over, but it's another small town. And again, some people, are looking for stuff to flip and sell, and other people are looking for stuff to redecorate, and other people are just looking for a good deal. And that's pretty much how that is. But again, a courtesy sometimes just goes out the window, and that's why I take a break from the bins all the time. But it's always nice to go with backup, because if you have a couple friends that kind of, hang around with, then people are less likely to mess with you, And thankfully, they got rid of the really bad apples, so nobody's stealing from my cart very often. Nobody has done that too often. It's, one person, had something taken out of their cart even though it had a blanket over it. So, I don't know. I just have a mixture of who knows what and kind of hide a couple of things. It doesn't really bother me if somebody steals something. If my whole cart is removed, it's usually the employees trying to gain some access to carts, because that's one of the biggest thefts that Goodwill has, is their shopping carts. They only have a fraction of what they used to. It cost them thousands of dollars for these carts, and then people decide to steal them and not return them. And just how it is, whether it is regular customers or they're just people that are destitute and need that sort of thing. But I don't know, really don't understand that one there. I had some mail that came in. Let me just show you a couple other things here. Picked this up at the bins here. The Neighbor's Official Collector Cards, number 34 to 66. The $2 price tag is what I could have had for it back in the early 2000s. Exactly what it was. And I'm happy to have this. I don't know which character that is. If they had the same ones on each packet, I'll have to look. I looked on eBay, and there's not very many of these. But there's a bunch of single cards from Australia or wherever. This is made in Republic of Ireland by Topps Ireland Limited. And I got a few trading cards here. We'll finish up the video with the trading cards and comic books here. So these Doctor Who cards, I had plenty of opportunities to get these from a certain vendor, but they were never complete. And no one else had any others at the time, so I didn't buy those. These are part of the merchandise set. Found that in the bins there. Found some Moonraker cards here. Moonraker, if you know, is just a James Bond movie that really was a product of its time, and nobody cares about Moonraker anymore. So nobody wanted any of these at the one point, so I grabbed them. People are not in the know, think those are worth a gazillion dollars. I think I have about 30 cents worth of stickers according to my calculations, because I used to be able to get a whole set of these for like $1 or $2 back in the day. Same thing with that Neighbors there. And then I have a few other Akira cards and Universal Monsters. Nothing, again, nothing special there, and Rocketeer and what have you. So there's just that kind of stuff there. But I took that. And then last but not least, I got a couple of non-valuable comic books. But people were grabbing them like they were candy if they saw them. So I ended up with Firestorm. Captain Atom versus Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. You can get that on eBay for just under $2. I think there was $1.69 plus shipping. So that was still about like $5 or $6, but again, the initial price was like under $2. And then I found the Spectacular Spider-Man. You could get this for between $8 and $12. I don't know if it's really worth. This is part 2. I couldn't find any more comic books because they were not in my cart. I had one more that was the fanciest one of them all, but I just threw it back because it's, one of these smaller limited edition series type things, and those don't have a lot of value. Again, so I really don't fight over those. Those cost me 50 cents a piece. To pay 50 cents for a comic book that barely even sells for $2, that's not where your money should be made, But I don't have the opportunity to go to comic book shops and go to the dollar boxes anymore. Because as much as I like to read the stories and be done with it, and get rid of the comics when they're done, A, I don't have room for comic books, and B, I don't have anything, to do with partial stories, because it gets so expensive, your store might only have those 2 ones, and then you have to finish up the stories and go on eBay, and it's really expensive. Lastly, I got a DVD, Ghostbusters, Blu-ray, and I don't have that here, so I might show that in the next video. My uncle sent that to me. I believe that's who sent that to me. So this is the video for today. Some great finds at the garage sales, which I didn't go to all of them, and I'm glad I didn't go to all of them. A whole $15 was spent, and hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.